How you doing, and welcome to Sports.com. Sports Daily, Dale Reed, Michael Artis, coming to you from the New York International Auto Show. And we're here with the exotic cars. As you can see, Lexus behind us, Mercedes, Bentley, Volvo.
I'm most excited, D, about Porsche. They've got no new cars this year, but the Panorama is about a year old. They've got the Cayenne, which is a cool SUV. They've got the smaller SUV. They've got the GT3, the GT2, the 911, the 911 Turbo. Just looking at those cars, getting to be inside them, see the updates, the refreshes, very exciting for me, and that's what I'm looking forward to most. But there is a lot of great automobiles up here, or are a lot of great automobiles up here, and I think it's a great show this year. I'm really excited here at the Jacob Javits Center, and we're going to take people through some of these really awesome cars.
I actually like, it's an Infinity right over here, swirling the concept car that looks pretty nice, maroon interior. I got to check out Range Rover. I think you were talking about getting a Lotus, maybe?
I'd love to get a Lotus. The Lotus are great vehicles. The Exige is an awesome vehicle. We'll have to see what Lotus has to offer now. Lotus are a lot of fun. They're race cars. They're toys, more or less, but I do like the Infinities too, and the IPL is a new offering from them. It's a concept, and hopefully they'll bring it to life. Basically, it's taking the coupe and the coupe convertible and their other vehicles and stepping up the performance, just like BMW does with their M Series, Mercedes does with the AMG, and Lexus has a higher level as well. This is the same kind of thing with their sedans and with their coupes, and I'm excited about that. I really like the Infiniti G Series, the coupe and the sedan, and I like it in the all-wheel drive and the S model as well.
I don't know what kind of cars or trucks you prefer out there. They got Lincoln in here, Acura. There's other companies here, but we're going to take y'all along on a tour of the exotics, baby.
What's your favorite, D? That's what I want to know. Well, let's find out what your favorite is now, and then at the end of the show, let's see if it's the same thing.
I'm gonna say Bentley, but I've always loved the Porsche 911. So.
Well, we're going to let you sit in it. We're going to take you through it, and we're going to find out a little bit more about the Porsches. You're going to see the Bentleys. That'll be exciting. And, of course, Mercedes has a lot to offer, too. I know the Range Rover is close to your heart. I don't think they made many changes, a couple of body styling changes, a little bit of interior stuff. It's now owned by an Indian company, completely different. And they haven't come out with their first redesigned Range Rover, but they have done a lot with Jaguar, and the Jaguars are beautiful. And they've made a lot
of the old Jags we seen out there yesterday.
Yesterday here at the auto show, they had all the old V12 Jags, the XJs, and a bunch of brand new Jags as well, and look beautiful. A nice little lineup. And then of course here with the Range Rover too, you've got a full new redesigned Range Rover Sport. Hopefully we'll get to see coming out in 2012.
Maybe we can go on maybe a little press ride or something. Hop in one of those trucks. I know they had the Range Rover press ride going on yesterday. So we're gonna see. We're gonna be right back, coming to you from an exhibit that we don't know yet. Maybe Porsche, maybe Bentley, maybe Mercedes. I don't know, Mike. What are you thinking?
I think we got to start with Porsche or Bentley. We got to get off the bat flying.
I think we got to warm them up, though, Mike. I don't just want to take them to the top notch. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we should just start with this Infinity concept, give them a little idea of what that car's looking like.
Maybe we should do that. Well, it's Sports Daily on sports.com and Ustream.tv. We'll be back right after this with something special. That I can promise you. I'm Michael Artis for Darrell Reed. Stay with us. Now, we're here in Infiniti, which is a car company I have fallen in love with. I've got an Infiniti G37X sedan, and I really love the car. I think for the price, there's not much out there that beats it. It's got great performance, it handles well, and it gets me through the snow, no problem. It's got plenty of room, and it's very comfortable, especially in this New York City traffic, and I sit in a lot of that traffic. I've come to love the entire product line. I like their SUVs, their crossovers, and the M Series as well. And the coupe has always caught my eye. Well, now there are some new offerings, and joining us is Ray Daniels from Infiniti. Ray, thanks for joining us. Talk about the IPL and what that means for Infiniti and how that changes the game a little bit.
Well, IPL stands for Infiniti Performance Line, and this is our foray into the performance lineup. Right behind us, we have the IPL G convertible concept. And as you can see, we have the Malbec black coloring, which is unique to the IPL lineup. We also have the red interior and the red sports stitching. We've increased the performance of the vehicle by, if you come back here, you can see the exhaust on the vehicle. We've opened that up. So we've enhanced the horsepower as well as the torque.
And the handling on these cars is really good. The braking is really good. And I can tell you firsthand, we can give you all sorts of statistics, but driving it in New York City, it's great when you got to stop really fast. It's great when you got to move around in traffic, and it's great when you find an opening and you pound on the gas. One thing I like the most is the manumatic transmission. It's a 7-speed automatic transmission that I've got. And while I'd like a stick driving in New York City, it's an option on these cars, but driving in New York City doesn't lend itself to having a manual transmission. But this transmission learns how you drive, and it drives towards how you drive. So I drive more aggressively. It's constantly, when I'm in complete automatic mode, downshifting for me when I start to slow down, and it's anticipating what I would like. And then, of course, I can go into the manual automatic mode and shift myself, and it lets me wind the car out, which is great. I really like it. And this car has more performance and more handling features, including bigger brakes, and I see that we've got like Brembo brakes on there and stuff, and it's got plenty of horsepower. What about the hybrid? How does it perform? Is performance sacrificed at all?
Yeah, that's the key to our hybrid. It's a performance hybrid. So you're not sacrificing horsepower. You're not sacrificing handling or any of that. You still have 360 net horsepower, and she's a beast. I mean, you press the pedal and she'll go.
Is it possible that we're going to see in the G Series a hybrid? Because that would be exciting to me. The M might be a little too much car for me in size. It's a bigger car. But the G Series, to me, it's a perfect size car, the sedan or the coupe, and it handles really well. It's exciting. So are we going to see a hybrid in that possibly?
We don't have plans for it now, but, things change.
Can you talk a little bit about the all-wheel drive platform that is in these cars when you get it with all-wheel drive? Because it really seems to be, I've driven a lot of all-wheel drive cars, and it seems to be a lot like the Subaru, which is balanced a 50-50 all-wheel drive split, and the all-wheel drive system's put in the middle. This is a different setup, but it really seems to be similar to that. A lot of all-wheel drive cars still seem like a two-wheel drive car and don't show the handling as well. Yet it was a terrible winter in New York this year, and I had no problems all over the roads. And so I attribute that a lot to the all-wheel drive, and I thought it was a great all-wheel drive system.
It's a great all-wheel drive system. Like I said, you don't lose any performance. Some all-wheel drives, I will say this, some all-wheel drives, they feel a little sluggish, and I'm sure you can attest to this. It feels just as good as a two-wheel drive vehicle. You don't lose any performance at all in our all-wheel drive systems.
Well, I had it at Hawks Nest last weekend, which is a road that they test cars on, and they also do a lot of car commercials. I think you guys have done a car commercial there, and there's no doubt in my mind that I was able to impress the people I was with by getting on the car with a little bit of room. And we were there doing some stuff for Sports.com with the Mini and the new Mini crossover, and then we hopped back in my car, and I really hopped on it, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun over there, and so yes, I can attest no matter what to the performance, whether it's on the West Side Highway, at Hawks Nest, or on the open road as well.
No, we pride ourselves on the performance of our vehicles. That's what we pride ourselves on most. IPL, Infinity Performance Line.
Well, I think you guys have done a great job. I want to thank you very much for your time. Before I let you go, is there anything we should know that's around the corner, or any secrets, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that you can give us and tell our viewers?
Well, we have the all-new JX. It's a 3-row crossover. We will unveil, it'll make its debut at the LA Auto Show, and we will kind of give hints of it at Pebble Beach.
What can we expect from that car?
You can expect a performance 3-row vehicle.
Really? And so it's going to be a performance crossover SUV with 3 rows of seating and handle like Infiniti, have the luxury that Infiniti customers are used to.
Right. We're trying to challenge the notion of like what you would expect from a 3-row vehicle, and that's what we've been tasked with, and that's what we've done, and we're ready to show customers everywhere what we have.
Well, I'm excited to see more of what you guys have. I think that Infiniti certainly makes a very, very affordable luxury vehicle. It's priced right. Their lease deals are good. They're certainly comfortable. They handle well, and they've got a lot of aggression and speed, and even more so if you want to dial it up with an IPL or any of the other vehicles, the S model, and so on. So I'm going to toss it to Darrell Reed, who is over with another car company right now. Darrell, what do you got for us?
Sports Daily. We're here with, the capital B on the gear shifter and all that. Here with Valentino O'Connor, head of PR for Bentley, looking at this beautiful Continental GT. Can you tell us a little bit about the car? Maybe tell us a little bit about the design, some of the new things that Bentley has done to change this car?
Sure. So the 2012 GT just went on sale in April of 2011, and it's been completely redesigned. Every panel is new. It's a lot crisper. So if you look at the new GT versus the old one, we take all of the aluminum and we heat it to 500 degrees Celsius. That's technology called superforming. So every line on all the body panels are super crisp, right down the middle of the hood, down the side of the line. So the result is it looks like a more solid, heavier, kind of more athletic and kind of hewn from solid car with floating headlights and taillights.
Yeah, the car definitely has a lot of body, like a to it. You know what I mean? Like real muscular, but it's still very clean, very sleek. The headlights, everything on this car is just like next century. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So the headlights are floating and the taillights are floating. There's no line around that. Again, that's from the superforming. So that can only be achieved using that technology, which is actually borrowed from the aerospace industry or from traditional coach building where people are cutting holes because you just can't do this on a production vehicle.
I mean, you can compare it to the old Bentley that's next to it, and you can see a lot of the different changes and a lot of the upgrades. There's things on the interior that have changed. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The interior has been completely redone. Especially probably the main highlight would be our whole infotainment system has been upgraded. We've got a 30 gig hard drive in there. We've got an 8-inch touch.
A lot of people weren't happy with that old entertainment system, huh?
Yeah, well, this is a lot faster, certainly. And you've got an 8-inch touch screen, great navigation. So there's really nothing to critique about this car. It's pretty terrific. And as usual, you've got your gorgeous mirror-matched woods, and all of the leather is just to die for.
All right, we're going to go for a little tour of the car. Maybe I'm going to jump in behind the driver's seat, maybe not. We'll be right back. Sports Daily.
Live on sports.com. I'm Peter Schwartz, and we're joined by one of the current.
If you want everything sports, you got to tune in to Schwartz on Sports. Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., Peter Schwartz, the esteemed broadcaster, takes on everything sports. He's got everything from high-end pro sports like the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball to alternative sports like extreme games, lacrosse, tennis, golf, and everything in between.
Joined by Minnesota Vikings Hall of Famer John Randall. Last year, you were inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that is the biggest honor that a player can get bestowed on him. What was that feeling like when you were enshrined in that candidate?
It was unbelievable.
You got to check out Schwartz on Sports because there's nothing you know that he doesn't. He knows everything sports. So check it out, 8 p.m. on sports.com, Tuesdays.
So how has the performance changed with the Continental GT compared to the old car?
Sure. The old car used to be about 552 horsepower, and the new one is 567. And what we have under the hood here, you see this is a really kind of substantial hood, is we have a W12 engine, which is essentially two V6s bolted together. It's massive.
Wow.
And it's got 590 pound-feet of torque, so this thing just pulls like a train.
W12?
W12.
That's that new W12. Forget V. Forget V12. We out of here. W12. You were mentioning something about superforming earlier. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so superforming is we take aluminum and heat it to 500 degrees Celsius. So if you look at the lines of the car, they're very, very crisp. And that allows us to actually float our headlights and taillights without any kind of cut lines around them. That's what makes the car look so substantial.
So tell me about the Bentley. Point out some of the changes that have been made to the Continental GT.
Sure. So I guess starting from the front, the new 2012 GT has a much more upright grille here and a lower fascia. We've got floating headlights thanks to superforming technology. You see this is all crisp all the way down the hood. Moving back, you got 21-inch wheels here. For the first time we're offering those. And then you've got a really strong line all the way down here. We call them kind of character lines, power lines, going all the way back to a real strong rear shoulder here. And then famous for the GT, of course, is you've got the pillarless coupe, which means that you're missing a kind of what we call a B-pillar in the middle of the windows.
This is what I like right here. This window right here is just like, it's so clean. Like, you know, usually you got that B-pillar right there, and that's what we're talking about?
Exactly, yeah. So It makes for a much cleaner look in the car. It's just kind of beautiful and swoopy, and it's gorgeous.
Can we talk about this interior leather? This interior is just beautiful. This leather is beautiful.
Yeah, Bentley's famous for its leather. We use in our cars in general up to 17 hides at maximum. And all of our leather comes from Northern Europe, and that's because the cooler climate there results in leather that's less blemished because they're not bitten from mosquitoes. And they're also bull hides because the female hide is more prone to stretching. Bull
hides, no mosquitoes. Northern Europe, you said?
Northern Europe, you got it. We've got these lights here again. The tail lamps are floating, again, thanks to superforming. And we've got a kind of famous Bentley double ellipses here in the tail lights as well, and it mimics the exhaust pipes. And in addition, we've got what we call the double horseshoe. So if you look at the rear deck lid, it actually looks much more like a Malzahn, our new flagship, which we just introduced, than it does to a Continental.
The double horseshoe right here, I think that's what she's referring to, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, and so it looks really substantial, but still a really beautiful old swoop. It echoes the old coupes of the 50s.
Beautiful, beautiful car. Is there anything else that that we should know, that we need to know about this new GT?
Absolutely. Probably the most important thing is that all of our Continental models are actually available in, or not available, I'm sorry. Flex Fuel is standard on all of our Continental models. So that means that you can fuel it up with E85,
okay,
or you can go to a gas tank and fuel it up that way. And you can fuel with any combination of the two, and there's no difference in performance.
It's beautiful. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Thanks for telling us all about the Continental GT. We'll be back. Sports Daily.
All right, D, well, we've made it on Sports Daily to Porsche, and I got to tell you something. There's a lot of exciting cars here, but maybe none more exciting than the Cayenne Hybrid and the Panamera Hybrid S right behind us, unveiled yesterday. Now, how does this car work exactly? I know gas prices are astronomical right now. Everybody's worried about gas. Hybrids are eco-friendly. They're environmentally friendly. They're the direction everybody's going in. But in a sports car like a Panamera?
Yes, we can play this game too. In fact, the Panamera S Hybrid is a very, very comfortable vehicle as well. So you're looking at, first and foremost, a Porsche. So you're talking about 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds still.
In a hybrid?
In a hybrid.
Sedan?
Sedan, luxury sedan, yes. So the way we get to this time is we have two different power plants in this vehicle. We have a 3-liter V6 supercharged combustion engine, which on its own will produce 333 horsepower. Additionally, we have an electric motor, which coupled with the 288-volt battery in the rear gives you another 47 horsepower. So in combination, you're looking at 380 horsepower in a hybrid.
Do you have to plug it in at all?
You do not have to plug it in.
And how does it work? All the hybrids are different, right? So you've got the Toyota Prius, which works differently than the Hondas, and now we've got the Porsche hybrid. So how does this work? When does the electric motor go? When does the gas engine go? And what's the gas mileage like?
Well, first off, this is a parallel full hybrid system, which means that it can run just on the combustion engine or just on the electric motor, or they can work in tandem to give you an extra source of power. That's how you get to the 388 horsepower.
So the way I drive, what would my gas mileage be like?
We do not have EPA figures yet. I know, for the Panamera S Hybrid. But we did see a 10 to 12% increase in fuel efficiency on the Cayenne S Hybrid. Might be a good basis to start with in terms of an expectation.
10 to 12% is pretty good. So you're looking at, 3 or 4, maybe 5 miles to the gallon more.
Possibly, yes.
And talk about the features of the car. Obviously, the handling doesn't change, and the braking doesn't change. So it's basically a Panamera with a better gas mileage and more eco-friendly.
Exactly. So we're looking at, as I discussed before in terms of performance, let's take a look at some of the electric range capabilities. You can go over a mile, about 1.2 miles on electric only. You can go up to 53 miles an hour without the aid of the combustion engine in this vehicle.
That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. We're very pleased with this vehicle.
So if you run out of gas, you can still get to the gas station.
Hopefully.
Not something you'd want to rely on, but hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
But I just think it's impressive that you guys have taken the time to get involved in hybrids and to make a real stand here and to not just say, hey, it's just another hybrid. This is a performance car. You've stuck to Porsche's legacy and to what Porsche stands for and still turned out a hybrid that is performance. 380 horsepower is insane.
Yeah, like I was saying before, first and foremost, this is still a Porsche. So we want to make sure that anyone who's driving this vehicle, if they wish for the vehicle to perform dynamically, it can and will.
And what about the Cayenne hybrid? How does that differ from this, and how is it very true to the Cayenne?
The Cayenne S Hybrid actually has the same power plant, the same 333 horsepower combustion engine, and the same 47 horsepower electric motor, the same 8-speed Tiptronic S transmission as well. Big difference would be that the Cayennes are always all-wheel drive. So the Cayenne S Hybrid is built off the same all-wheel drive platform. In the Panamera S Hybrid, we had the luxury of choosing between a rear-wheel drive variant or all-wheel drive. And of course, to be more efficient and eco-friendly, we went with the rear-wheel drive variant for the Panamera S Hybrid.
Now, these cars are both gorgeous. The question is, if somebody got into them and didn't know that much about Porsche, would they know the difference between this and a regular Panamera? Would they still feel the rush of the acceleration? Would they still feel great handling? And the same thing with the hybrid. Would they notice the difference between, or with the Cayenne rather, would they notice the difference between the Cayenne and the hybrid Cayenne?
You're going to notice a difference, but in different ways. So for instance, the hybrids actually have more torque. And that's an effect of the combination supercharger, which gives you more torque at a lower end, and also the electric motor. So both of these vehicles have 428 pound-feet of torque available at 1,000 RPMs. And that's a lot.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
And very early is right. So it's going to give you that rush, especially off the line. Beautiful, beautiful vehicles. What are we talking about for entry price on these cars?
The Panamera S Hybrid starts at $95, and the Cayenne S Hybrid starts around $67.
So it's not really that much of a premium to go hybrid.
It's not. In fact, the Cayenne S Hybrid is just a few $1,000s more than the Cayenne S, and the Panamera S Hybrid is priced very close to the Panamera 4S.
And you don't have to plug it in at all?
Nope, no plugging in at all, and you don't have to tell it when to use the electrical system. It simply responds to your throttle input. So if you are at a red light and it turns green, and you're soft on the gas, it'll pull off in electric-only mode, and the combustion engine will kick in as is necessary, either due to range or your power input. Or on the other hand, if you slam the gas, you're going to get both powertrains pushing the vehicle to maximum acceleration.
What about the battery? You ever have to change the battery?
Battery has a 7-year warranty on it, on the vehicle, and there's no scheduled maintenance.
PDK and manual transmission for the Panamera?
Neither in this case.
Neither?
For the Panamera S Hybrid, this is the only Panamera that comes in the Tiptronic S, the 8-speed variant. The rest of the Panameras in the U.S. are only offered in PDK.
And the Cayenne, I would imagine, is just the automatic.
Yeah, the Cayenne for the S Hybrid, you are looking at just the Tiptronic S. You can, in the V6 Cayenne, get a manual transmission if you desire.
That would be a little weird.
We don't sell as many of them.
What about the Turbo S, the Cayenne, or the Panamera rather, the Panamera Turbo S?
Yes, the Panamera Turbo S. We discussed this one yesterday as well at our press conference. The Turbo S Panamera is going to add about 50 horsepower, so now you're looking at a 550 horsepower sports sedan.
That's unbelievable.
Acceleration times are also unbelievable because you're talking about hitting 60 in 3.6 seconds for a 4-seat luxury sports sedan.
I think D. Reed can run that fast. Is that? Can we check his 40 time? 3.6 seconds for a sports sedan?
Yes. And 190 mile per hour top track speed.
That is unreal.
It's quite impressive.
You basically just took a 911, stretched it out a little.
And made it fast.
Well, 911's fast.
And in this case, yes.
Right, so this is like Spaceballs. We just made it ludicrous speed.
There you go.
I really like the Panamera S. I like the body styling has changed a little too on the S, right? Or the Turbo S, rather.
The Turbo S, yeah. So you've got more of the sport look on the front. You have the exclusive side skirts that are on the bottom. The rear tail that comes up at speed is a 4-piece unit that comes up and then separates, and it's painted in body color. We have a few other exclusive differentiators for the Panamera Turbo S2. The communication color for the vehicle is agate gray, and there are 2 interiors. There's a black and cream and an agate gray and cream interior as well.
Well, I think one of the cool things about Porsche in general too, though, is you can customize the car pretty much any way you want, color scheme wise, wheels. You can do so much to the car.
Yeah, we really like to stress that through our exclusive department, you can make the vehicle any way you would like it to be.
What about the PDK transmission? Can you talk about that and how great it is?
Sure. We've had a lot of success with the PDK. As I said before, it's the only transmission we offer on the rest of the Panamera lineup, with the exception of the hybrid. And it is our dual clutch approach. So it's both more efficient from a gas mileage standpoint, and it provides for quicker acceleration times, the best of both worlds.
And what about the rest of the lines? I noticed you have the Carrera GTS over there, the 911 Carrera GTS, which is very similar to the C4S body, but it's a rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah, it's got the C4 body, so it's got the wide body in the rear, but it's still just the 2-wheel drive variant. So you have the lighter dynamics associated with a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and then you have the aesthetics of the 4-wheel drive unit.
How do you keep up with all the different models and all the different variants? I mean, you seem to know about everything here, and I know that's your job, but it seems like everything changes all the time.
Not to sound cheesy, but I kind of view it more as my life than my job. You know, I enjoy this, and it's where my passion lies. So for me, I enjoy learning everything new that's coming out and assisting.
What about, going back to the Panamera hybrid for a second, what about urban driving, urban settings like New York City? Is this a better vehicle for urban settings like New York City than the Panamera because of the hybrid engine, and you can save on gas mileage, especially when sitting in traffic?
Yeah, typically with your hybrids, you're going to see the advantages more in urban driving than you would on the interstate. So as you come to a stop at every stoplight, you're using the brakes, you're sending energy back into the battery to recharge, and then you can use some of that power again to accelerate with. Whereas if you were driving on the interstate, you'd be using the engine to both recharge the battery and power the vehicle.
So perfect for New York City driving.
Be great. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Certainly.
I really appreciate your time here on Sports.com, Sports Daily. We're going to go to D, who is got another surprise for us. Check it out.
We back. Sports Daily. I just ran into Mike over here at Porsche. My favorite car ever since I was a little kid has been the 911. I got to get in here. The seats recline. It might be, enough room for a big guy like me. And it's just beautiful. Check out this car. GTS. Got to try this joint out right here. Let's see if I'm going to fit, though. We got to see if I'm going to fit. All right, let's see if I can get comfy in here, though. Is there room for me to get comfy? Okay, boom. Move that. I don't know, Mike. I don't know. You think I could do this? You think I could pull this off, man?
You didn't think you fit, but you fit really well.
What's the price on this, Mike? $130? Yeah, it's Christmas present to myself. I got this. We'll be back. Maybe go check out them double R's, Range Rover. Sports Daily.
I'm Justin Tucker, the New York Giants, and you're watching Sports.com.
If you want everything sports, you got to go to sports.com. That's spelled SPortCE.com. We're going to take you behind the scenes in the world of sports and a lot more. It's sport, content, and entertainment. We got a lot of great stuff. Technology segments.
Now it's got the front and back facing cameras, so you can do video chats like this one via Skype on the 3G network, and you can do FaceTime, only available on the Wi-Fi. It's got a lot of other great features. You can edit on it with iMovie. You can make songs and voiceovers.
Behind the scenes.
We back, sports.com, at this secret location, behind the scenes, Jim Jones.
We'll take you into the lives of athletes, follow them off the field, but it's also music.
Be right here, but it's perfect day.
and other genres as well. Check us out, sports.com, and we've got live shows 5 days a week. A lot of live shows with live guests in our New York City studios. We've got Rally Notes at 7 p.m. on Thursday nights, The Warning Track, 6 p.m. on Friday nights, Schwartz on Sports with esteemed broadcaster Peter Schwartz, 8 p.m. on Tuesday nights, and on Wednesdays, it's The Music Movement with Daryl Reed. Check us out, sports.com.
And we're back, Sports Daily. Daryl Reed here. And I told you we would not leave this international auto show without checking out the Double R, the Range Rover. And we're here now with Simon Turner from Land Rover. And can you tell us a little bit about the Range Rover and the general direction that it's headed and how it's changed?
Yeah, the model we're looking at here is a 2012 limited edition. It's the Autobiography Ultimate Edition. And one of the main feature packages around this vehicle is the focus on business class seating. This vehicle has business class seating for 4 people, and it has a premium rear seat package which incorporates dual iPads, a multifunction business table, and of course a beverage cooler, which hopefully you guys will see.
So it sounds like to me that, you know, I'm used to driving my Range Rover, but if I get the Ultimate, I'm going to need to get a driver.
You may well, but of course you could equally drive it also.
Just talk to us about you know, where Range Rover is headed, you know, as a company right now.
Well, there's a lot of exciting times ahead for the company. We're obviously always looking to move our brand up market. There are opportunities in different market segments, and we can continually move the brand and Range Rover up market, and that's generally where the future direction for the product will go.
So we're sitting here and we have the Autobiography next door, and this is the Ultimate Autobiography. What makes this different from, say, a normal supercharged Range Rover?
Yeah, the main difference is, just to recap again, are around the rear seat package, which are much more business orientated in this vehicle than they would be in the regular Autobiography. Both vehicles obviously premium vehicles. They have a similar powertrain, power unit, and they're focused on the performance end of the market. But this vehicle has premium second row seating.
So exterior, interior, besides the business, all the business things happening in the rear, everything else is basically the same?
There is some bright work and finish appointments on the outside of the vehicle, which differentiate it away from the Autobiography, and there's also premium package around the cargo space area, which hopefully we'll get to see in a second.
Now look to me, I was looking inside and I saw some two-tone leather and some things going on that are a little different from the stitching that the old Range Rovers had. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, and that's really another attempt for us to move the interior of the vehicle up market. You know, many people like different combinations of colors and materials, and we're just trying to fill some of that.
Yeah, it's real nice, the leather. And can you just take us around the car and maybe point out some of the, we're definitely going to get to the interior, maybe point out some of the exterior differences and definitely the interior.
Yeah, sure. Around the front of the vehicle we have unique bright work, a unique radiator grille, appointments around the front of the vehicle that are different to the regular Autobiography. At the side we have side vents here which are unique to this vehicle, a unique wheel package, and although this vehicle doesn't show it, the actual Ultimate Edition Range Rover will have a power deployable side step.
Okay, I like that. I like that side step because the range is, you know, it's up high. It's kind of, you know, tough to get in. Yeah, for some people, definitely. So that side step, is that just going to be with the Autobiography or just with the Ultimate, or which?
It'll be a standard equipment on the Ultimate Edition Autobiography.
As you can see, this is different right here. I don't know if it's usually one. It's definitely different right there. Yeah, it's something different right there.
There's different metallic finishes and appointments that just raise the style of the vehicle a little bit from the side view also.
Okay, now let's get to the good part, the interior of the car, and this is where the biggest changes obviously have come. What makes this Ultimate very special is the inside of the car.
Yes, I think one of the key features in the second row seating is the application of dual iPads, to the rear seats.
Are those iPad 2s?
We're working on that. Apple seem to be updating things all of the time, and we always are running to keep up with them. But we're hopeful that we're going to have iPad 2s in this vehicle when it finally does come out.
You figure Range Rover, they would have somebody waiting online, get those iPad 2s. It's only going to be 50 made of these?
There's going to be 500 globally, but only 50 in the U.S.
You know, as I was saying earlier, I'm used to driving, you know, my Range Rover at home, and I just got a little supercharged, nothing ultimate like this. But if I got something like this, I feel like I'd need to be in the back. And can you tell us why?
Well, standard appointments in the rear would be dual iPads for rear seat entertainment. Of course, the functions of the iPad are pretty well known to people already, but in this particular case, you can integrate movie showing or audio through the vehicle's entertainment system. You have a control here that allows the rear seat passenger to switch to different types of audio media through the main system, and of course the guy in the back has control, the guy in the front doesn't.
Exactly. A totally different concept for somebody in the back seat to have control of the vehicle or control of what's going on, the entertainment in the vehicle.
Correct. Yeah, another nice appointment in the rear. We have separate seat recline and lumbar controls, separate heating and cooling in the rear for the rear seat occupants to...
My seat reclines in the back now?
It does, in fact, yes. The controls are on the door. You have your own climate controls here in the center console. And you also have another cool feature which we like is what we term a multifunction business table, which would deploy for you to work on if you wanted to, or to configure with the iPads. We have a wireless keyboard which would allow you to type in the back and maybe work a little while you've been driven.
Wireless keyboard?
Yes.
Is that going to be standard in the Ultimate?
Yes, it will be standard, yeah.
Wow.
Another really cool feature up front here is a beverage cooler and a place for beverage glasses. So nice little touch here. We have glass holders to hold your glasses while you've been chauffeur driven.
This is beautiful. This is the Ultimate. We're here with Simon from Range Rover, from Land Rover, and he just gave us the ultimate tour of the Ultimate, autobiography Ultimate, right?
The autobiography Ultimate Range Rover, yeah.
I got to, you know, maybe, I don't know if I'm ready to be a back driver or not, or a backseat passenger. I got to maybe hang out in here for a little bit, you know, play with a couple things, and then, you know, I'll get back to you guys.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks. We really appreciate it. Appreciate the tour, Simon.
Thank you.
All right, we're over at Range Rover, but not the big Range Rover, the newest Range Rover. It is the Evoque, and Skip is joining us to talk about this car, 4-door and 2-door variants, and I like the 2-door the best, a coupe from Range Rover. Amazing.
It is, and it is our first, and we're real excited about this. This is actually our smallest, lightest, and most with best fuel economy Range Rover ever. It's our first Range Rover actually with a 4-cylinder engine.
Fuel economy and Range Rover said in the same sentence. Is that even possible?
It is now, and we're real excited about this. This is going to be great for its class and also for the Range Rover brand, and showing new technologies and way to really conserve fuel.
Talk about how this is really a Range Rover, not an LR2, not an LR4, but actually a Range Rover, yet has a much smaller engine and is a 2-door car.
Yeah, it is a much smaller engine and it is a smaller car, but it is fully a Range Rover. When you look at the inside, you're going to see the high-grade leathers, the woods, the full real metal in there with the cool touch to them. I mean, we've got a really great product here, and it lives up to the Range Rover name, and you'll really see that when you get inside it. It's been several years in progress. What do you think this car is perfect for? I think this car is perfect for someone that wants someone that's really design conscious and wants just a great looking car, but also a car that they know can pretty much take them anywhere they need to go. Yeah. So this might be good for an urbanite in New York City that needs a smaller car, doesn't want to pay the overage in the parking garages, doesn't want to guzzle gas, but does need to get off-road at some point, but also wants to be comfortable in city traffic. Exactly. This is going to be a great car for all environments, but also it's going to be a car that's for a customer that really it's always wanted a Range Rover, but really hasn't been able to get into it because maybe it didn't really fit their needs. It's too big, didn't get the good fuel economy. But now here's a vehicle that could be just the right size for them.
Let's check it out. Tell me what we got here. What do we notice about the exterior?
Right here we have, this is the 3-door, and what we do is we call it the coupe. So this is the Range Rover coupe, and the one next to it over here is our 5-door. So we have 2 body choices first to start with. And then from there, we've got many options to go with, but really personalize it to your own needs.
Well, you talked about the interior. Obviously, we've got big wheels here. It looks like 17s.
No, these are optional 20-inch wheels on.
20-inch wheels? Wow.
But the standard vehicle comes with 19-inch.
Okay, 19. So it's very similar to its bigger brother.
Exactly.
And when we look inside, obviously it's completely different than the Rover we're used to. I'm going to hop in.
Hop on in.
Okay. And wow, it's really nice inside. I think what I'm surprised about is, I have to be honest, I was kind of expecting like a RAV4 kind of vehicle. I was expecting like very chintzy. I know you said Range Rover, but I hadn't been inside. And now this is all Range Rover. It's got a good solid feel, and it's 100% Range Rover in here.
Yep, that definitely is. And what you'll notice here is you've got full leather seats. Full metal touches on all the trim there. It's full aluminum. Actually, it's recycled aluminum. So, we're just trying to do our part. But probably one of the coolest things is if you look up, the whole roof is glass all the way. It's a full extended panoramic roof.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and what that does, it just really opens up the vehicle. Plus, it gives you a couple more inches of headroom in there. So, I mean, it's just incredible headroom in this vehicle, front and rear seats.
Well, it's what's nice about it is it's cumbersome to feel a little sportier. It's comfortable though. But it like hugs you, it surrounds you, but yet there's plenty of room, and that's what I like. And it's all Range Rover all the way. It's beautiful fit and finish. And there's only one more thing for me. I think the price tag is really right on this car. It's how do I get a drive?
I've been waiting for 2.5 years to drive, and I just spent all last week over in the UK actually driving it on the test track. And this vehicle performs incredibly well. I can't wait for everyone else to drive it.
It certainly is unbelievable. I really like it, and it's got the Range Rover features. You got the dual climate control, the navigation. You've got your multiple cameras, your audio, video. You've got your Bluetooth for your phone, and you've got your electronic parking brake, and it even has my favorite feature, which might be the selling point for me of any vehicle. And I just was talking to Brian Austin Green about this, and that is that the windshield is heated so that you don't need a fan blowing in your face to defrost it, and it's one of the best features. And of course, then it's a Range Rover and it handles very well.
That is correct. This is a great any environment vehicle. So especially in the cold weather with the snow and the ice, it's great with the heated windshield. And one of the other things I wanted to point out to you, this is our first partnership with Meridian. They're a high-end UK.
I see that. Audio company.
Yes, exactly. And
so the audiophiles will like that. Meridian's always made great audio components. I used to have a Meridian sound system in my home years ago.
Yeah, and the one we have in this vehicle is 825 watts and 17 speakers.
And this car, how much is this vehicle?
The vehicle starts at 45, and of course, it's a Range Rover, so that means it's going to be very well equipped at 45, and that includes the standard panoramic roof, a rear camera, full leather interior, and 19-inch wheels.
It's pretty awesome. It's got the keyless go, and it feels like and kind of looks like a tank. It's got that Range Rover tank feel. I really like it. I really want to get in the car and test drive it, but it certainly is on my list of must-have cars.
Yep, and this will be in the showrooms in the early fall. We're really excited about this one.
Skip, this is awesome. You guys have outdone yourselves between the Range Rover Ultimate and this, the Evoque. I love what you guys are doing, and I got to tell you something. You guys are doing a great job, and you should keep doing it. We got to take our show on the road to the next booth. I think Dee's got something special over there, but I love this Evoque, and thank you for letting me sit in it, and I can't wait to see it on the showroom floors and drive it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time, Skip.
Yep.
Look who I ran into, Brian Austin Green. Brian, what do you think of the New York Auto Show so far?
It's amazing so far. I'm standing here in the Range Rover section, and I'm drooling.
This is
unbelievable.
This is the ultimate Range Rover right here.
This is almost too much, which is you can't really say about too many cars, but this car has got teak floors in the trunk.
On a Range Rover.
iPads in the back seat, fully reclining with a tray table and a little roped off area for a stewardess to sit in the back. This thing is ridiculous.
It really is ridiculous. I mean, the Range Rover is probably the best truck out there. It handles well in all weather, snow. It can do the beach.
Hands down. These things are workhorses. I have a Sport right now, and I'm telling you, if I was stuck on an island and I had one thing, that would be the one I'd want, because that'll get me anywhere I need to get on an island. These things are incredible.
They are incredible, and the features that they have are for workhorse. They're for getting you through. You talk about a windshield that defrosts with the lines in it, so you don't have to use a defroster and have the air blow in your face. Right. Even something like that, it's genius.
The entire thing is just thought out well. I think this company has spent enough time making enough of these to really, through trial and error, get it right. What I've noticed about this line, especially just Range Rovers in general, is that they've gone through so many changes, and I think they've gone through changes that have worked and changes that haven't. And now here we are, a teak trunk, a teak trunk, and iPads.
A teak truck and iPads. Hey, big guy, how you doing?
This is Cassius.
Hey, Cassius. How old are you?
9.
I saw you looking at the Evoque over there. And what'd you think of that?
I like it.
Yeah. Is it like the perfect car for you?
No, I would say this one.
This one. You like the iPad?
On that note, he goes over here.
What did you?
You're not getting yourself a Range Rover anytime soon.
What did you think of the Evoque?
It's beautiful. I haven't sat in it and spent too much time in it, but it's it's a completely different turn from what they've done so far. I mean, we're looking at a 2-door and a 4-door with a full glass roof in it, tons of headroom.
It's kind of exciting, though, isn't it?
It's quick. I'd love to take it out on a track and really open it up. I mean, to me, that is the competition for the Cayenne, and that's the competition for the X6 and, everything that Audi's got. I'd be curious to open it up and see how it does.
You seem like a car guy.
I am a car guy. I've been racing a little bit. I'm getting into racing more.
Really? What have you been racing?
I'm a cat guy? Is that what you just What's wrong with
We got a cat guy and a car guy.
A cat guy and a car guy. 2 C's. Okay, stop it. Enough. I'm sorry, what was the question?
So what have you been racing? What have you been doing?
I just ran my second year in a row in the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race.
Oh, wow.
At the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Placed 3rd out of 5 in the Pro division this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got to run with Ken Gucci and all these cool guys. And
that's awesome. And what do you drive for fun? Obviously, it seems like you have a Range Rover, first of all.
I do. I have a Sport that I'm driving for fun right now. I have a 66 Fastback that I drive.
Wow. What color is the Fastback?
It's blue.
Wow, that's beautiful. Did
Yeah.
you restore it yourself or bought it restored?
I restored it myself, not by hand, but I bought it and it needed work. And it was one of those, you either drive it for a few years until it falls apart or you gut it completely and rebuild it from the ground up. So I drive that for fun. I've had all sorts of cars in my time. Now I'm looking at the Jags, I got to be honest.
Jags are beautiful again, aren't they?
They really are.
They're unbelievable.
The controls coming up out of virtually nowhere, pretty amazing. They're beautiful cars. I'm a huge fan of the old E's. So I like where they're going with it now. They're sort of simplifying everything again, keeping it clean, low to the ground, and from what I'm hearing, fast.
Yeah, and they're beautiful.
Everyone I've spoken to that's run test tracks in the new Jags they're floored by them.
Enjoy the rest of the New York Auto Show. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports.com.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for talking to me.
Thanks, man.
And yes, I do have something special for you, Mike. We're here with Kevin Smith, head of marketing at Lotus. And we're checking out the new, is that Esprit? How do you pronounce that?
That's the all-new Lotus Esprit. Yes, that comes to market in a few years' time.
So this is not out yet. I think 2013 is target?
2013, exactly.
So tell us about Lotus. Tell us a little bit of background. A lot of people don't know about this car company. Tell us a little bit of background about Lotus, and then tell us about where you guys are headed now.
Happy to. Lotus has been around building race cars and road cars for over 60 years now. We're a small manufacturer based in England. We've got 7 Formula One Constructors World Championships to our name. We've won the Indy 500 back in 1965 with the first mid-engine car to win the 500. So the root DNA of Lotus is all about racing. But early on, the founder of Lotus decided the great way to support the racing habit was building phenomenal sports cars for the road as well. So we've built many great drivers' cars through the years. Our most recent portfolio are cars like the Lotus Elise, the Lotus Exige. Just about a year ago, we launched the new Lotus Evora, and we're launching 2 new variants of the Evora here at the New York Auto Show this year. And the glimpse into the near future is the all-new Lotus Esprit. The most iconic Lotus of all time for the road was the Esprit we originally built between 1977 and 2004. It's been in James Bond films, it's been in Pretty Woman, and this is the new Esprit coming in the future.
So are you bringing that shape, that form from the 70s back, or are you bringing that look back?
We're bringing the general look back. The Esprit was always, mid-engine, kind of a wedgie profile, supercar look to it, super aggressive stance, phenomenal Lotus handling, of course. And what we've done is we've modernized, we've brought that look of the Esprit, the last Esprit from the early 2000s time frame, into the 21st century purely with this beautifully styled new Lotus Esprit.
So can you tell us about some of the features that make this Esprit very special? You know, maybe not into too much detail, but some of the special features that it has.
Well, as it is now, it's a concept car, but our intent with this car as it nears production, and it's well into development now, is we want to have a carbon fiber body. It's an all-aluminum chassis. It'll be a carbon fiber body with aluminum closure, so the doors, the engine cover, the front deck lid, be aluminum panels there. The powertrain is going to be a pressure-charged V8 engine. We've not yet divulged what size that'll be. We're contemplating making our own engine for the car, developing our own brand new engine for the car, but it'll likely be a pressure-charged V8 engine with a base specification well into the 500 horsepower range, an up-level R specification up into the 600 horsepower range. The car is only going to weigh a target of about 3,100 pounds, so it'll offer exceptional driving performance.
It sounds like this is a car that I'm going to want to take on the track and really see what he can do.
It's going to be the kind of car that you're going to want to drive for a few hours, enjoy it on great twisty curvy roads on your way to the track, and then enjoy it for at least 4 or 5 hours on the track having a great time.
Now I'm looking here at the door handles. I'm not sure how you get into this car, or is that just because it's a concept car, or is that actually how the door handles are going to look later?
Well, that's how they are in the concept. They may make it to production. And the way they work, they're flush mount for aerodynamics. But if you just gently press in at the leading edge of that door handle, the back end comes out, you grab it, and you open the door. Very simple. Just an elegant design.
Definitely elegant design. And the mirrors, how the mirrors are going to be put on there looks elegant. I wish I could get inside the car and talk about some of the features, but I remember the Elan. The Elan was one of the cars you had. Can you tell us about some of the other cars that I see over here?
Yeah, absolutely. The Elan, we've actually had 2 different variants in earlier years of the Elan, back in the 60s into the 70s, and then we had a new Elan in the early 1990s. We have a future Elan coming into the portfolio in the future as well that we showed in Paris and Los Angeles. We don't have it here, unfortunately. But the cars that we do have currently in our portfolio that are here on the stand, we've got 2 North American debuts here. One is the new supercharged Evora. That's about a 3,100 pound car, aluminum chassis, composite body, 3.5-liter V6 supercharged with 345 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. Excellent performance, 0 to 60 about 4.5 seconds, top speed 172, but also great fuel efficiency. The car is EPA rated at about 26, 27 miles per gallon highway, which means you'll see close to 30 miles per gallon on the highway realistically.
So that's the blue one, correct?
That's actually the S is the far side, the black one. The blue one that's here in the foreground is the new Evora IPS that comes to the market this fall as a 2012. That car has the 3.5-liter V6 naturally aspirated engine, 276 horsepower. What's new about the IPS? IPS stands for Intelligent Precision Shift, and that is a paddle-shifted 6-speed automatic that you can drive paddle shifting it manually or just leave it in automatic mode. So that's going to broaden the appeal for our Evora range.
Okay, and in between the 2 Evoras, we have another car. It's a white car. It's looking real pretty over there. What car is that?
That is the Lotus Exige, and that particular model is an Exige S260 Roger Becker edition. It's one of 20 that we've produced.
I knew it looked special. I could tell from here it looks special. And you know, these are cars that you can get right now.
Absolutely, yeah. You can buy that Exige and drive it off a dealer's showroom right now. The Evora S is literally about a week away from arriving at our dealers here in the U.S., so you can go pre-buy that car and take delivery about a week from now. The blue Evora with the IPS transmission is going to be available this fall, so you can go pre-order that car right now and take delivery in probably October.
Well, we appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks for coming on sports.com. And we'll be back. I'm going to go catch up with Mike. I think he's got another hot, exotic car for us. So, Mike, where you at, baby?
We're at Jaguar here at the New York International Auto Show. Tim is going to tell us about what's new at Jaguar. There's a lot new in the last few years, a lot of changes. Indian company owns Jaguar now as well as Land Rover. And a lot of great changes, a lot of great body styling changes, kind of bringing the cars back to the E-Type of old, of the 60s.
And it's great that you mentioned the E-Type. It is actually the 50th anniversary of the E-Type. It was unveiled at the New York Coliseum in 1961, so 50 years ago. So we've got that great heritage with the E-Type here. New York is a great town for Jaguar. So we brought out the 2012 model year cars here, worldwide debut, refreshed XF and XK, and then, of course, the XKRS, which is our flagship now for performance. 550 horsepower, 502 pound-feet of torque. This thing is a monster.
Can you talk about the differences in body styling that have really changed and what has gotten a lot of people really excited about Jaguar again?
Yeah, last year it was the all-new XJ. The original XJ came out in 1968. It was a revolutionary design for a luxury sedan. But we kind of kept that design language going for a really long time. The traditionalists loved it, but it wasn't bringing any new customers in, and Jaguar really needed to reinvent ourselves. We have this history of kind of turning automotive design on its ear with the XK120, of course the E-Type, the original XJ, so we needed to kind of keep that design momentum going. So the all-new XJ last year was revolutionary for us. All new design, radical look. When you see one on the road, you will not mistake it for anything else, especially from the rear if you've seen those waterfall taillights.
It's really, really beautiful, without a doubt. It looks more like a sports car than a sedan.
And it drives like a sports car, too. All aluminum construction. It weighs anywhere between 500 and 800 pounds less than the competition. That's a difference that you can feel when you're behind the wheel.
What about that little gizmo that people would normally call the shifter to put the car in drive? I guess it's a gear selector.
We call it the rotary drive control. When you turn the car on, all of our cars are the keyless start. When you turn that on, it rises up out of the center of the dashboard. And
like a hockey puck.
Exactly. It looks like a hockey puck, and then you just rotate it to get the car into gear. It takes up a lot less space than the traditional stick. It's actually really ergonomic and very intuitive to use. Kind of wonder why no one came up with it before. But it allows us to have a lot more fun and play around with the interior a little bit since we don't have to have that big, ugly stick in the way. So it enhances the interior ambiance. Plus, it's kind of fun. People enjoy that little bit of, the dance that the car does for you, welcoming you in.
What does the near future hold, and then the long term?
Near term and long term are both really good for Jaguar. We're really excited about our Tata ownership, especially together with Land Rover. Getting out from underneath Ford Motor Company was a really good thing for Jaguar. They provided a lot of engineering resources to us, but Tata really understands how to manage a luxury brand and kind of how to let Jaguar be Jaguar again, as we like to say. They've given us a lot of stability and over £1 billion a year in investment for future products. So the future's really good for Jaguar. Our current lineup.
Hold on, I have to explain to the viewers that that's not a weight, that's a dollar amount. That's an economical figure.
Yeah, it's an English company, we talk in pounds. It's basically, it basically means a tremendous amount of investment for us to really get the future product that Jaguar needs to be a success. We're investigating expanding into different product lines. Our senior management's talked about this Roadster that they're working on, so there's some neat stuff that's going to be coming down the line.
Well, all of that is exciting, and of course, the XJ made such a splash last year and got everybody so excited that I think you have to look at this and be excited. This was the first Tata Motors car that was made by Tata or under Tata's ownership, and I think that everybody was worried and didn't know, and it was uneasy. And then when the car came out and it's performed as well as it has, everybody's now excited. And also when you look down the road at Range Rover, everybody is also excited about what they're producing, and it's nice to see you guys outside of Fix or Repair Daily.
Absolutely.
Or Found on Road Dead.
Yeah, I found on the road dead. It's, we actually got a lot of investment from Ford through the years. They're actually responsible for the millions and millions of dollars for our aluminum architecture for that investment. So we thank them, to no end for that. The all-aluminum XK, the all-aluminum XJ were the result of Ford investment, but now that we're free of them, we're really allowed to kind of stretch our wings and do what we want to do. Change makes people nervous. With the new ownership with Tata, people weren't quite sure what that meant. Tata was an unknown company for a lot of people in the automotive world, but they do have a big presence in India. Big industrial company. They really know what they're doing. They know how to run a business, and it's been nothing but good for us here at Jaguar, and especially Land Rover together. Keeping these two iconic British brands together has been really great because We have a complete model lineup. People keep asking, well, when's Jaguar going to come out with an SUV? It's like, well, we do. It's called the Range Rover, and it is the best in the world. So it allows Jaguar to be the best that Jaguar can be, and Land Rover to be the best that Land Rover can be, without kind of muddying the waters with, Jaguar doesn't need to make an SUV. Land Rover doesn't need to make a sports car. We can be, true to who our brands are, and really kind of achieve our maximum potential.
Tim, thank you so much. Jaguar, thank you so much. Very exciting stuff. A brand most people had almost considered dead and thought that Ford killed it, and obviously completely revitalized, re-envisioned, and reimagined here through Tata Motors. And the cars are beautiful, elegant again, which was part of Jaguar's mystique and character throughout the years. And of course, they drive well and don't seem to have the service repairs, so that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We continue to win some J.D. Power awards, especially for sales and service satisfaction. Jaguar owners are the most happy with their dealership experience than any brand in the automotive industry. So it's a new age for Jaguar. It really is.
Something very special and very exotic, the Spiker. They've been around for years, and this is something special. I got to tell you, it's got quilted leather inside the car. It's got racing seats. It's for the track, yet you can drive it on the street. Hans, thanks for joining us so much. Tell me about this car and what your favorite part of the car is.
Well, you're looking at the new Spiker C8 Aileron. We've been producing short wheelbase cars up till last year, and this is a new car. And I cannot find anything that I don't like about it, but it is, again, a Spiker with an aviation history. It uses the same 4.2 V8 that we had used in the other cars, 400 horsepower. Car weighs around 1,325 kilos, whatever that is in pounds. 26
whatever it is in pounds.
Whatever it is. I think the lower you say it, the better it sounds, right? 1,300 kilos is better than 2,700 pounds.
Absolutely, but it's still very light either way you say it. Now, obviously, the weight contributes to how fast it goes and how well it handles. Aircraft heritage can be seen in the car. One of the things I like the most is the transmission, the shifter in the car as well. And I think that the aircraft lineage comes out of that. I love what you did with the hood scoop over the kind of the cockpit of the car. It's beautiful. Can you talk to some of the aerodynamic features like that?
Yeah. Well, for instance, the one you just said, the air intake, it goes right into the engine. Engine needs air to breathe, to produce horsepower, so it's another one. On the side, you have the same thing. You have the cooling system on the top and the cooling system for the brakes on the bottom.
I was going to ask if that was for the brakes. And I've had cars where you have cooling systems like that for the brakes, and it really does a wonderful job of cooling the brakes, especially when you're on the track. Now, what about driving this in New York City? Is there any possibility of that kind of thing happening?
Well, I hope so, even though I'm not that familiar with New York City. I just came in last night and I saw some of the roads. You're going to have a hard time with this car, scraping down when you get through a pothole or something.
What if you can find some clear, smooth roads?
Go for it. Then for sure you go for it, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about the heritage of Spiker. Obviously, we've got this aviation lineage. It's seen throughout the car between the quilted leather, the shifter, a lot of times you have
the wheels. These are turbine wheels, and the other cars had the twist of the propeller in their wheels, aero blades, and now we have the next one generation, which is a turbine,
like a jet,
and all that. But Spiker is an old company. It started in 1875, and they were building coaches. And their best coach ever built is still among us, at least in Holland. It is the golden carriage for the House of Orange, our royal house. So Queen Beatrix, the Queen of Holland, once or twice a year drives a Spiker with 6 or 8 horses in front.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
The original one, yes. So that's something that no one can claim except for Spiker.
And the cars are still hand-built?
And the cars are still hand-built. When we did it in Holland, we built the cars for 600 man-hours. Now we moved our factory to England because the infrastructure in England is such that we can have all the items close by. And in Holland, we had to get a chassis from England, the body from Germany, and put it all together in Holland. Now we do everything in England, in Coventry. And it will take 400 man-hours.
0 to 60 is?
0 to 60 is right now on this one. 0 to 60 is in 4.3 seconds.
And how about the top speed? We're doing it close to 200?
200 miles, yeah, just under 200 miles. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, you can look at the called diamond metal, diamond-plated metal. and that makes you think of the aircraft as well.
Yes, exactly. And so we try to do as much as we can, because in 1914, Spyker not only built cars but also started building planes. And Holland was neutral. They were building fighter planes and were selling them to the good guys and the bad guys. Like Holland is a nation of business, and so we sold them to the good guys and the bad guys. You can figure out who the good guys and the bad guys were.
And how about the handling in this car? Would you say it handles better than just about anything else out there?
Well, it is definitely a step up from what we did before. We did it with a group of engineering in England that together we came up with this new concept and this new way of building the chassis. And I must say, this is a proper GT car, a proper Gran Turismo. It drives beautifully. I drove 1,500, 1,600 kilometers with it, and drove it on the track and then drove all the way back, and no problem whatsoever.
Does that mean it's comfortable?
Very, yes, yes.
And you don't feel it needs a V12 or a V10?
No, no, no. The V8 is perfect for what it is.
Keeps it light.
So keeps it light.
Sometimes you trade off, you get a bigger engine, but you add weight to the car.
Exactly. And this, there's a couple of signatures of Spyker. One is, of course, the look, but especially the exposed linkage that we always use, whether it's an automatic or whether it's a regular 6-speed. It's always the exposed linkage, the aviation look, but also the sound. There's a few things that people always remember about Spyker, and they say, "Oh, that sound, that V8 sound, it was incredible when the car came around the corner."
Don't get that from a V12.
You don't get. Oh, it's different. It is a fantastic sound.
It's different.
High pitch, and it's different. And we somehow got married to this V8 sound, and it's stuck to us. And
now, do you do wind tunnel testing? Wind tunnel testing?
Wind tunnel testing, yeah. And that's a good thing about Spyker now owning the neighbor, Saab, that now suddenly we have 2 wind tunnels and we can test all we want. In the old days, before we owned Saab, and we had even the Formula 1 team, we had 2 wind tunnels, and but that's very, very expensive. A wind tunnel on the average is 50 million, and now we can borrow from the Swedes.
Well, and the Saab, you guys have done a nice job with Saab. Let's take a look right now at some of those Saabs and the redesigns and what you're doing there with Saab. Obviously, a couple of a concept car there, and the new 9.3 and the 9.5 look absolutely stunning as well. And it could be much like we've seen Tata Motors do with the revitalization of Jaguar, could be the revitalization of Saab here after General Motors all but kills off Saab. And that will be really great to a lot of Saab enthusiasts, including myself. I'm excited to see what Saab can do in the future. Take a look at those beautiful cars, and it's good that you get to share the wind tunnel now. So,
yes, among others, that's fantastic. But all in all, we're very happy about the future and the future of the 2 different brands, and the brands will always be different. They will go this way, but they won't do this. You know?
That's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah. So Saab is Saab and Spyker is Spyker.
Take me through the car a little bit. So obviously we've got all these beautiful lines on the car.
How do you open the car?
Well,
And then,
that's a good question because
my thumbprint.
Wow.
I'm joking.
Oh. We've got a shaved door handle almost. We've got a little doorknob under the mirror. Now, it's very comfortable. I like it. It's nice and cozy in here. I like cockpits that wrap around you. I like lots of gauges, and it's got all of that. This is really exciting. Now, this is possibly my favorite. I want to get into the rest of the car, but is this an airplane-style toggle?
And then you push the other one up.
And you push it up.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it.
That's it. It's exactly now.
The launch codes, Mr. President.
Exactly. Now these days, it's more common that cars have an keyless entry, etc., which we have here. But when we started this in 2000, we definitely were the first ones. Now any Renault Clio has it, but
I want these for my light switches in my house, but now I want the Spyker more than ever because this is awesome. I think that's a great toggle switch, and it does make me think of fighter planes or launch codes.
What you have to do is you imagine. When we design the cockpit, you imagine that a pilot goes into his cockpit and goes click, 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 and have all these, and they make a metal-to-metal sound, and click, not a zoom, electronic zoom, but a metal-to-metal sound. So you have your pilot that goes click, 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 and everything starts to work, and that's what we wanted to have.
All right, so take me through this car. It's beautiful inside. I love the metal switches. It's beautiful outside. You got a lot of room in here. Yep. You've got this glass roof, which is a great addition.
Turns dark when the sun is on it, so you don't sit in an oven.
That's great too. And so take me through the car.
So this is the first car, the Spyker car. That's why it's longer and wider. That is having a complete automatic gearbox, a ZF automatic torque converter. So since Spiker has one of the signatures, the exposed linkage, we still have the exposed linkage. From here, you put it in different, from park to drive to reverse to neutral, etc. The rest you do on the steering wheel. So you up and down, you switch your gearbox, you just up and down one like this. And that's about it.
So we gave y'all a tour, you know, showed y'all some cars, showed y'all some trucks, Range Rover, Porsche, your favorite. Was that your favorite? What was your favorite car today?
You know, you didn't ask me, and I know that yours is the Porsche GTS Cabriolet, the 911 Carrera.
Is your favorite the Evoque, that Range Rover Evoque?
You know, I liked the Evoque. There were some things I liked a lot, but I gotta say, if I could take any car home, you know, I would want to say a 911 or a turbo from Porsche. I really would have to say I think the Cayman is the right car for me. It's a Porsche. It's a mid-engine car. It's well balanced. It handles well, and I think I could get away with driving it almost every day.
That would be the Cayenne. The Cayman. Okay.
The Cayman, not the
sure.
no, not the SUV, not the Cayenne. The Cayman. I do like the 911, and the one thing.
What about the Panamera?
It's a very nice car. I like it a lot.
The four-door.
The four-door. It's a sedan. I really would like to be in the Cayman in a two-door coupe. Fixed roof, small car, 2 seats. I do like the 911. It's a toss-up, but I also look at the cost difference and think that the Cayman is a much better value, although I do like the fact that you can get a C4 with all-wheel drive with the Carrera.
One thing I did like about that Evoque is that roof.
The glass roof is unreal. And I'm curious to see how it drives. If it's very Range Rover, it is a great everyday car. Because the Range Rover is such a great truck, and it's a little bit sportier, and it's a little bit more towards a car. It's a crossover, and I think that it will do very well. And I would actually be interested in driving that myself. Although I'm very happy with the Infiniti, and I think we talked to Infiniti, and I'm very happy to see what they're coming out with. And I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't even want an Infiniti when I went and drove it, but I've been very impressed with the Infiniti and how it handles in the snow and everyday drivability and comfort.
I think that's one thing that, you know, when we first got to this show, that first Infiniti we saw, it grabs your eye, it grabs your attention, and it makes you, even if you don't like Infinitis, it makes you walk over by that booth and check out that car.
Well, that's true. I was not a big fan of Infiniti before I owned one. And I didn't even want to own one. I decided to look at a lot of things because where the car leases were at. They were a little higher at the time. And I got a great deal on the Infiniti, which I wouldn't have taken if it didn't drive well. But I was very impressed with how it drove, how it handled, and how comfortable it is. And I'm still loving it. I would like a Cayman for every day. I think that would be an awesome car. A 911 you would never turn down. But also you have to look at this Evoque and say, this could be a great everyday car. Could haul your stuff, could haul your family, could be comfortable, and could have a lot of these great features that the Range Rover has, including the all-wheel drive and the capability that the Range Rover has as a tank.
I think one thing we got to note is how friendly everybody was at the different companies we went to, the different booths we went to today. Everybody was very friendly, a lot of information.
As far as beautiful, I think nothing beats that Bentley, that new Bentley Continental GT. How beautiful was that car with the flowing lines?
That car is just beautiful. It's just gorgeous. But like I said, my favorite is that Porsche 911.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm in the Porsche booth as well. I think that the Bentley was beautiful, but maybe when I'm 85. It's not for me now.
You know, the Rolls Royce, you know, we didn't stop by Rolls Royce. They got the Phantoms over there, the drop head and all that. But it hasn't really changed enough for us. I didn't feel like it was enough changes with the Rolls Royce to really.
No, not at all. Rolls did not have enough changes. It's basically the Phantom, the drop head, and the drop head convertible, and that's really it. And they've got a baby Phantom coming out. But you know what? Rolls-Royce never did it for me. They still don't do it for me. If you're going to spend that kind of money on a car, buy 3, or go buy yourself a Maybach, which is amazing.
Yeah, or get a Lambo, right?
Well, like I said, buy 3. You know, I'd buy. You could buy a Gallardo. You could buy. Certainly buy 2 of these Ferrari Spiders, California Spiders.
A couple Bugattis, maybe 2.
Half a Bugatti. You could buy half a Bugatti. Or you could buy 1.5 Bentleys. You could buy I'd have 3 911s, or maybe a 911, a Panamera, and a
Cayman.
And a Cayman. Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Got
3 days of the week.
Exactly. And I'd get that new Range Rover, that Ultimate. I like that.
Okay, and then we could share cars. That'd be fun.
So we had a great time, over the last couple of days here at the car show. But we got to wrap this up. We got to get out of here, Mike.
That's right, D. Unfortunately, we do, and it's been fun. You've had a lot of fun. I think what's nice is over the last 2 weeks we've done a lot of car stuff, and it's opened your eyes to the car world.
I can't wait for the next couple weeks because from the contacts we met today, we might be actually test driving, taking some of these cars out.
We are. We're going to be taking a lot of these cars out. So for Darrell Reed here at the New York International Auto Show, I'm Michael Artsis. This is Sports Daily. Check us out Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time on sports.com and ustream.tv. And check out our site, sports.com. Thanks for joining us. Be terrific.